Welcome to Private Club Radio, the industry's first and only program dedicated to education, news, events, trends and announcements. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Private Club Radio. So happy to have you join me. Cam Schultz is today's guest. He's the Vice President of Marketing for VGM Club. If you're a podcast junkie like me, you probably know that Cam is also the host of the Club Sense podcast. That podcast covers everything from coffee to agronomy. I listen to each and every episode when they come out. I really enjoy that show. So this will be a little bit different of a dynamic for Cam. He's usually the interviewer. He'll now be the interviewee. We'll have some fun with that. But you're going to learn all about VGM Club and what they do for clubs, how their buying power could save your club thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on purchases you're already making. They have a pretty interesting system. We're going to get into that right after these messages.
Why do over 60% of Boardroom Magazine's distinguished clubs choose to partner with Club Essential? The better question is, why not? As the leading provider of club management and marketing software to over 1,400 private clubs, our unified suite of modules are designed to automate club operations while informing and engaging members. From websites to accounting and POS to CRM, online reservations, and mobile apps, Club Essential has all of your club's technology needs covered. Visit clubessential.com to learn how our experienced team can help your club. Again, that's clubessential.com.
Hello there. I have a question for you. How impressed are members with the cleanliness of your club? To attract new members and keep current ones happy, your club must provide the best cleaning and maintenance service possible. Elegance Cleaning Service specializes in country club cleaning. We'll create a custom cleaning program where members can see and actually feel the difference. Don't accept par for the course at your club. Visit clubelegance.net and step up your cleaning game today.
Last thing I want to mention before we bring Cam on is that we do have the replay up of the Marketing to Millennials webinar. If you weren't able to make that live, we now have it on replay for you. If your club's trying to attract younger members, I'm going to show you some techniques and some strategies that have worked for other clubs in the industry, and they can work for you. Go to privateclubradio.com/millennials and check it out. Without further ado, let's bring Cam on. It's my pleasure to be joined by Cam Schultz. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Communications for VGM Club, a membership-based purchasing solutions company that serves over 3,500 golf and country clubs nationwide. A 2001 graduate from the University of Northern Iowa, Cam has spent the last 15 years in the advertising and marketing industry. He joined VGM Club in 2010 as the Vice President of Sales and transitioned into his current role in 2014. Cam has been privileged to speak at various regional CMAA, PGA, and GCSAA events, including being the Master of Ceremonies for the inaugural Iowa Golf Summit in 2014. He's a frequent blog contributor and also hosts the VGM Club podcast, Club Sense, which I listen to. So I'm really happy to have Cam on. Cam, welcome to Private Club Radio.
Oh, thanks for having us, Gabe. Appreciate being here with you.
Yeah, it's excellent. Like I just mentioned, I listened to your podcast. I've been listening to it since the beginning of the year I've enjoyed some of the episodes that I'm hearing. So I hope you continue to keep doing that, Cam.
Well, and thank you, and likewise. Not only myself, but several of us here at VGM Club have been listening to Private Club Radio and really commend you for what you're trying to do for the industry.
Yeah, thank you very much. Glad we have both sort of gone into the podcast space around the same time, and we're starting a mini movement here in the private club and club industry. So I'm glad you're with me.
We're like the club podcast nerds.
There you go,
the first ones.
Right on, cool. Well, first, just want you to talk a little bit about VGM Club and how you work with clubs, Cam.
Yeah, no. And you really gave a great kind of elevator pitch of what we are. We are a purchasing solutions company. We started back in the mid 90s simply by trying to help the PGA Golf Pro purchase smarter, more efficient, and more economical. And throughout the years, we grew from helping those golf pros buy for the shop to extending outside to the superintendent And then in the early 2000s, we realized that the most of the invoices that are coming in happen in the clubhouse and the kitchen. And so we created, with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a food and beverage program that really took VGM to the most comprehensive purchasing solutions platform in the club business.
Nice. And I see that you do have 3,500 clubs around the country that you're working with. So you're able to actually find them some better deals, right?
We do. And it's, it's partly with the volume of those great partners. You talked about network earlier. It's a network of 3,500 clubs, golf clubs, country clubs, city clubs, yacht clubs, athletic clubs. And we're taking that membership base, we're talking with them, seeing what type of deals they're looking for, what they're looking to go about. Most recent, it seems like the big push is how can we create a more recreation and activity level at these clubs. It's not just about golf anymore. It's about having families, kids come to the facility. And there's been a huge push on the fitness side of it.
Right.
Everybody's a member of a fitness center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, and I think the clubs have really put a huge focus on this, is how can we get that fitness center at the country club? And so a number of years ago, that's what we heard from our members. So we went out and partnered up with a few people that can help with the equipment, help with the capital expenditure side of putting in a fitness center. So that's just an example of what we're doing for our membership.
If someone wants to become a member of VGM Club and get some of those savings and stuff, how do they go about joining?
Yeah, it's really simple. We have a number of membership development representatives around the country. There's 50 associates here at VGM Club. We call ourselves associates because we are an ESOP organization. So everybody has skin in the game to make our company really go. So we've got 13 outside reps. They're at many of the association events, and they're doing market visits in their areas. Or you can always just check us out on vgmclub.com and contact us that way as well.
Where are some of the areas in the club that you're finding the most savings?
Well, that's a good question, Gabe. And I'd kind of break it down into two segments. You have your capital expenditure or your once in a while purchase versus your weekly or daily purchase.
Okay.
The lion's share of those dailies are coming in, whether it's either in the kitchen or something associated around the daily dining activities. There's while everybody in the club business since 07, 08 has really started to mind their P's and Q's on the expense side, there's still many items that are and deals from manufacturers that are either unfound, unknown, or unavailable to clubs. And that's what we really specialize on, is working with those F&B directors and chefs that are doing the ordering to buy the most efficient way that they can not only get a great product, but also buy the products that have the deals with contracts.
All right, Cam, I know you have a new innovative website that's really user-friendly. Can you tell folks about that?
Absolutely. We about 2 years ago, we revamped our website to be really member-focused. And so we created a portion of it, this portal called My VGM Club. And what that is, it's an extranet page, in essence, that each one of our 3,500 clubs has access to their very own look into VGM Club. So they can go there 24/7 and see their overall savings, their savings details, as well as an outlook to ways into saving more money and some really detailed information on the supplier agreements that we have for them in place.
So is it something where you can actually show people that, hey, here's a hot deal that's going on right now? Or is it that they're looking at their existing deals and ways that they're saving? How does it all work?
Really both of those, Gabe. So not only do our supplier pages change on a regular basis based on either the agreements that we have set forth for our members to use or some limited time offer programs that those companies may have just set up specifically for VGM clubs, but they can also look at the savings side of it that's happened in the past as well to track and I know some clubs even will audit some of their service agreements against those numbers. So it's really twofold.
You've got a pretty extensive supplier partner list. Can you just name off a few of the bigger ones?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is rather long. It's as long as my arm. We've got about 150 supplier partners, and on our food side, we work with about 300 other manufacturers. So, we work with the industry giants in the food world, such as your Tysons and PepsiCos and Georgia Pacifics, Lamb Wessons, things of that nature. And then we have, featured distributor networks around the country for our members to get our food program through, or allow our food program to complement their relationship with their food distributor. And then on the other side of it, we work with, like I said earlier, tops in class companies such as your John Deere Golfs, your Centoses, your Alsco Linens, Life Fitness, just to name a few. But we look at everything a club can either purchase, lease, or buy. And if we don't have a program for it, we try to go out and get it. A prime example of that is it kind of rounds back to one of the shows you just recently did about we know there's a market out there for working with consulting companies that can come in and help a club save significantly on their utilities and their what many people think are fixed costs. So we went out and signed on a couple companies that can help you on the sanitation and utilities side.
Yeah, and the show that you're referring to is when we had Ian Church on. It's called How One GM Saved Over $120,000, and we featured Ed Flanagan from Expense Reduction Analysts. So
yeah,
if folks want to go back and hear that episode, that was a good one. And you had a very similar episode on your program as well on Club Sense, right?
Yeah, we did. We spoke with U.S. Consulting Group, which is the company that our members were offering to our members to help with their sanitation needs. And since that podcast aired, a prime example is we work with a management group that oversees about 50, 60 facilities. And they ended up saving in the six figures annually on their sanitation by working with Johnny over at USCG. So those are market savings, both that your show and our podcast we're talking about.
Yeah, our podcasts are doing something, huh?
Saving money by the thousand.
There you go. So I just want to make sure that listeners really understand what you guys can do for them. So I think of it this way: a lot of the benefits of bringing in one of these club management companies is that they can get you some certain purchasing discounts and things like that. But you're saying, if for a $500 fee, I can join your network and get some of these same savings.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a good place to start, Gabe. There's several people when they're looking into joining our company or our member development reps are prospecting them. They believe we are a management group, and by no means are we a management group. We don't cover the payroll, the HR side of it. We, in fact, work with many management groups where they find some merit in using some of our agreements with suppliers. What VGM Club does is we can offer several of the things that some management groups may pitch a single facility, but we do it on a freedom of choice level. So we have 150 contracts. Our members sign on, and we're here to help them navigate through them. We're here to help start a conversation with a company that we may be affiliated with, and then we let them handle it on their behalf. So there's not a compliant nature to our business, but we're here for our supplier network to create compliance through the relationships we have in the market.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Well, I want to shift gears just slightly here and start to talk about that podcast of yours, Club Sense. Like I said, I am a listener. Every time you release an episode, I have listened to it so far. I think there's been 5 episodes. 5 or 6, right, Cam?
Yes. Yeah. I think we're going on number 7 here.
Nice.
In a couple weeks with some innovative ideas from around the world.
Okay, perfect.
Club world.
Yeah. So what subjects have you covered on Club Sense?
Well, our first one, we launched from the PGA show. So we just walked around the PGA show and we spoke to a couple of our suppliers that were there. I believe we were talking with Next Belt, who is if you don't own a Next Belt, you really need to go get them. I know a guy like me that goes from the size 33 to 36 waist, depending on what my meal schedule looks like. It's a handy belt to have.
Nice.
And then we went over and spoke with our friends at Life Fitness. And then we had some of our charter member clubs or contacts at those clubs swing by our booth. And so we chatted with John Rieger down at Adena Golf Club and Jim Brotherton that's at Old Overton down in Alabama. So that was a great inaugural show because we were live from the floor.
Yeah, I like that concept. Yep.
And then we've launched into the world of coffee, speaking with our partners over at Farmer Brothers. We had some spring fling with the world of produce. We've got a great conglomerate program on produce distribution around the country. Spoke with them as well as some of our members like Justin Singh over at the Great Quail Hollow Club, and he gave us kind of an inside look at how Quail Hollow starts the spring cuisine. And then we rolled down to Austin Country Club and talked to Bob Burns, Chef Bob Burns too, and he's doing some really cool things down at Austin Country Club. I encourage everybody, if you're a Twitter fan, follow at Chef Bob Burns because he's really cranking out some neat stuff down there.
I'm doing that right now. I'm actually literally typing that into my Twitter as we speak.
Dave, the only problem with it is when you read his Friday and Saturday night specials, I seemingly always read them about 3:00 in the afternoon. I just get hungry as all get out.
It's like going to the supermarket when you're on an empty stomach. It's a bad idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what's been your favorite episode?
Oh boy! Now it's like
it's like one of your babies.
I'm going to ask you that when you're on our on our podcast. It's like choosing your kids,
right? That's the benefit of me interviewing you. So
I thought the spring cuisine one was really fantastic. We had Stephanie Goldfarb, who is the corporate chef for Produce Alliance, on. She also is a restaurateur in the Chicago area. You might know her from the Food Network. She's been on several Food Network shows.
Okay, yeah. I thought she sounded familiar. That makes sense.
Yeah, she is awesome to listen to and awesome to be in a conversation with. Mm-hmm. And I think that show is probably my favorite because of her, as well as talking with our members, talking with Justin Singh, talking with Bob Burns, and just seeing what it's like in the back of the house at a private club like those two clubs. It's very insightful.
Yeah.
Many of your listeners I know are managers or they're working in the industry and they've been in the back of the house before. And sometimes obviously that's not so glamorous when it's a busy night and things are going wrong. But that was probably the best episode in my mind.
Nice. Well, every time I do one of these private club radio shows, I always have some big takeaways. And sometimes I've covered subjects I know actually absolutely nothing about. So are you having that same experience with Club Sense, or is there any shows that you've had some big takeaways or you learned from doing?
Oh, I second you, Gabe. I mean, every episode, every conversation we have, you're talking with experts. And so, for example, when we spoke with Ali Yusufpour with Farmer Brothers, and he's been around the world, time and time again, actually, with the grower, learning what's happening with the bean, and to just to be on the phone with Ali for 20 minutes, you realize just how little you know about coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But just listening to it at the same time, you learn just how much you have learned from that 20 minutes. Every single time we're on an episode, there's takeaways.
Yeah, and actually that was my favorite episode, the coffee episode, because probably of him. He was so passionate about coffee and all these little intricacies. I had no idea. I'm ashamed to say that 5 mornings out of 7, I'm making instant coffee here, but
well,
I'm gonna have to repent.
Now you just feel so wrong for drinking the instant, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
You want to grind your own bean from Peru or from Australia. Yeah,
exactly. All right, well, we've come to the section of the show where I ask you, what is your bucket list club out there, Cam? If there's one club that our listeners need to see, what club would it be for you?
Oh boy, how long do we have? As someone that's been fortunate enough to travel around the country with my VGM team, just been to so many great clubs. I guess I'd almost break it down. Gabe, as you're an avid golfer as myself, I'd probably break it down of places you want to play.
Okay.
And then the second section would be just clubs that are amazing. The playlist, if I'm talking about a bucket list of places I haven't played, is probably the Long Island clubs, from Friars Head to Shinnecock to National Golf Links.
Mm-hmm.
They just look like phenomenal tracks. But then you as you go across the country, now I kind of sound like Forrest Gump. There's so many great places. Oakland Hills in Michigan. Not only the history of that club, but the amazing architecture that Donald Ross has on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
Castle Pines. You can go up to again, stay up in Michigan at Crystal Downs. A McKenzie that's just it's breathtaking. You drop down south. There's everybody thinks Augusta National. There's a little place about 10 miles east of it called Sage Valley. That is it's an unbelievable golf experience.
I've never heard of that place. I'm going to have to look that place up.
Yep. Mr. Wyatt, it's quite a story. It's in Granitesville, South Carolina. Actually, one of our featured supplier partners, relatively new one, Sub Air, in Turf Breeze. Their office is right outside Sage Valley. It's a gem of a golf course. And then you go out west, and I think I'd mentioned Castle Pines, but you drift on, and you've got places like Whisper Rock or Estancia. And then, of course, you get into the Olympic Club, which, places like that kind of transition into, it's not just a great golf course, it's a phenomenal country club. And on that country club side, you really have to look at, there's so many great places and so many great people that are at them. Olympia Club being one. The Madison Club is probably a place, if you're going to take a look at a club that is to the nines, and run like it's to the nines, it'd probably be the Madison Club down in La Quinta. And then there's just some favorites like a Royal Oaks down in Dallas, a good old traditional country club, family club. Our friends down there, Todd Harbor, the GM, and Chef Javier, and their whole team really make that place special. So, Gabe, I could go on for hours.
I can feel your enthusiasm right through the microphone here. Yeah.
There's just so many of them. I was just this past weekend actually fortunate enough to visit one of our members up in Michigan again at Forest Dunes Golf Club, and they have a great 18-hole track, but they also have a Tom Doak design that's come out. You might have seen it in the media here recently. It's called the Loop. And it really kind of reminded me of Bandon Dunes, but it's a golf course that you can play both forwards and backwards.
Oh, wow.
And it's really going to be special. I mean, it's a haul to get there, but if you're looking for a golf experience, you play a course one way on Monday and the next way on Tuesday is pretty neat.
Well, I'm glad you you mentioned those Michigan clubs because I think, a lot of times people will take these trips out to Scotland, these dream trips, but you could easily do that around Michigan with some of the wonderful clubs out there. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
Without a doubt, if you want the Scotland feel on a budget or great golf feel on a budget, you can easily golf Forest Dunes, Arcadia Bluffs up in Michigan, and then you can hop the boat across the way to Kohler and to Erin Hills, and there's so many great golf courses in the Midwest. But heck, there's so many great golf courses all over the country.
Oh, there's not enough time in the day to play as much golf as I want to do.
There isn't.
Well, how do folks get in touch with you, Cam, or if they want to become part of your network of VGM, how do they find out more?
Yeah, no, I'm on Twitter, on Facebook and everything. I'm at my Twitter handle is VGM Club Cam. And if you'd like to learn more about VGM Club, you can either contact myself or visit our website at vgmclub.com. We always like to talk too at 800-232-5480. And myself or one of our team members here would be happy to come out and sit down with you.
Dynamite, Cam. It was great to have you on Private Club Radio today.
Gabe, thanks so much. And I will be calling you back to schedule on Club Sense sometime.
All right. That sounds great. And you can ask me the question. What my favorite episode is.
Have turned, Gabe. Thank you very much.
Bye, Cam.
That's a nice guy right there, that Cam Schultz. I had a lot of fun with that one. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. And hope to see you back here next week. We're not going to have a traditional guest like we generally do here on Private Club Radio. We're going to be doing something a little bit different, something special. I wrote an article recently called Membership is Not a Sprint. And it got a ton of great feedback, and a lot of people reached out to me and said they really enjoyed that concept. So I want to share it in a more broad way here on Private Club Radio. The concept actually came from Private Club Radio when we had Susan Green, the president of the PCMA, the Professional Club Marketing Association, here on Private Club Radio. And I did a little research talking to some psychologists and figuring out how you can create a habit, how you can make your club a habit. If we can form a habit in the consumer, we can win them as members and keep them coming back to our clubs. Suffice it to say, it's a little bit out of the box. I think it could cause a major industry shift that could really benefit a lot of clubs out there. It might work for you, might not, but I promise it will get you thinking. One request from you before I leave you for this week. If you've been enjoying the show, if you enjoyed the guests and the incredible content that they're sharing here on Private Club Radio, please spread the word. Even if it's just one friend or colleague out there that you know has to have this, that needs some education, that is wanting to further their career. If you could share this show with them, I would be so appreciative of that. They would appreciate it as well, I know. And if everyone did it, we would have double the audience next week. And just imagine where we could take this industry if we were all together. Until next week, here's to your membership success.
Just because this round is over doesn't mean you can't enjoy the 19th hole. Check out privateclubradio.com for more. Private Club Radio is brought to you by Shake Creative, the premier marketing and design firm, helping prestigious clubs increase and retain their membership. Visit shaketampa.com to learn more.